Hi, I'm Stacy Beck. We live in a community that lives by the motto, pride and progress, while also loving its hometown feel. And today we are celebrating a big deal day. Recently, we commissioned Dowdle Folk Art to create a painting and a puzzle based on Spanish Fork. Today we are unveiling that work, and to help us do that, we welcome Eric Dowdle, the artist himself, to give us some insights and details.
Ooh, insight and details. That sounds like a tall order.
That is a tall order. Before we jump into this, though, I have a day job.
And it is?
I work at Utah Valley Magazine.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Wow. Ooh,
So look,
oh, my goodness.
2011 holiday issue.
Back when I could see, back when my hair's grown in. Man,
Isn't it great to pull up?
I've grown up so much.
No, this was fun.
Oh, you know what? I remember about that interview.
What?
Is that when you're talking to people, if they really want to know what you're doing, she was so good. I felt like, man, she really cares.
Yeah, she's a good interviewer.
Oh, great.
So, and she's from Idaho, and isn't that you grew up in Idaho and Wyoming?
I should have known. Yeah, Idaho, then Wyoming.
Okay.
It was a progression. Eventually I made it to Boston, now Utah.
Okay, and how old were you when you came to Utah? Like college?
21.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you're in Linden, right?
I am. Been here
Okay.
33 years, 35 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm now Utahn.
Yes, you are. So were you ever that young, struggling artist?
Ooh, always. Except for I wasn't smart enough to know that you could fail at being an artist. Honestly, my dad was just like, just do it, son.
Okay.
But nobody goes for a career where the word starving's attached to it.
No, that wouldn't be a good career
There's no
move.
starving doctors. But
True.
starving electricians or whatever. And so I just started to paint and draw and just needed to pay some bills. I was having children before I knew it and just needed to survive.
Okay.
Had no idea that I was actually building a career.
So did it start off with this look, this folk art, or did it start off something different?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I grew up in a family of 12.
Okay.
And so we were taught, if it's only art if it looks like whatever you're painting. So a realist.
Oh, okay.
And so everything I could draw photorealism. But when I moved to Boston, I discovered folk art. And folk art is great for storytelling. I mean, you could just put so much in. But I always thought folk artists painted that way because they couldn't paint. And then I discovered the art of Charles Wysocki from my wife. And I just started to explore that. And it just seemed like a fun genre. I actually tried to get her to paint it because I was still going to be a great realist.
Okay.
But so my early stuff looks a little more real, but I've kind of just let go now as you get older and your kids get older and the life beats you up. You're like, we're just going to have fun.
You're just going to do this.
Yep.
So can I ask you, when did it transition from art to like, let's make this into a puzzle?
Oh, good question, Tiz. No artist is at school going puzzles.
Right.
That's where I'm going to spend all my time. I was doing a puzzle with a gentleman who started a big company here in Utah. I was just happened to be invited to their home for Thanksgiving. Oh. Mm-hmm. And while we were putting it together, I mean, the guy was very intimidating. And, is the kind of person you want to get to know, but you don't know what to say because you're young and dumb, which I still am. But I said, after about a half an hour, we were best friends.
Oh, really?
I mean, he was saying stupid things. I was telling him stories, and he was laughing, and we were just having a good time. And I thought, wow, how awesome is it that you can make something that brings people together and creates a relaxed situation where you share. And sometimes you'll talk about the art, sometimes you'll get really serious, and I just had so many fun experiences since then. Even doing puzzles with my own kids where they open up and tell me their deepest, darkest secret.
Right,
yeah.
right.
So that's how it all started, just by doing a puzzle with a gentleman who, he just inspired me to try it.
To transition a little bit.
See what would happen.
Well, I can relate to that. I've collected your puzzles for probably 15 years. I bet I have 30 at home.
You're the person.
I'm the person that has helped you. Yes, because I would just run over to your Linden storehouse and just pick out what I wanted, and we would always do them up at our cabin. And that's when the TVs are off, cell phone coverage is poor. We'd sit till 1 in the morning and just sit around the table and do puzzles.
Yeah, and every artist wants people to look at their work, and today we just walk down the hall. We don't really pause and stare at art. And in the 1800s, that's what we did. That was television back then.
Oh, true.
A piece of art was television.
True.
You had half an hour of talking about the white picket fence and all.
I like that.
But now, if you're really going to study art, a puzzle's as good as you can get.
True.
So it was an accidental little surprise.
That worked out beautifully.
Yeah.
And it takes you back, folk art, like to the yesteryear, like a slower time too. Like you reminisce and think about ancestors, or maybe what your city, your country, or this place you want to visit looked like long ago.
I had a showing during the 96, Utah's sesquicentennial.
Oh yeah.
I think I said that right, sesquicentennial. Anyhow, we did an art show, and I had about 15 of my early pieces on display. And my early work was a little bit of a throwback to quote unquote the good old days. And there was this lady with a cane. She was about 82, and there was a younger guy next to her, and he goes, those are the good old days. And she took her cane and she whacked him. And she goes, the heck they were, I was there. And I realized what she was meaning, or she then said, anytime you have to go to the restroom with a flashlight and a pair of shoes, those are not the good old days. What she was saying is, or he was saying, I miss the morality, the character of the people, and that side of life. But is there a way we can have technology and that honesty of yesterday?
The slower pace.
Yeah, that's
maybe.
so the good old days. A mix of today and yesterday.
True.
That's what I'm trying to capture in the paintings, because I do the past and the present.
Right.
So.
Which you captured Spanish fork, the past and the present. So let's
there's
dive
such
into that.
Great history here, and I think Spanish fork is one of those little secrets. I mean, who knew that all of the Iceland people were here? The Icelandic people, and there's just so much fun stuff. Even from as I was doing it, I'm from Wyoming, and you have such a cowboy tradition here.
Yeah, and did you not know that, even though you live in Linden?
I didn't. You know,
Okay.
you hear the name Spanish Fork, I'm
Right.
thinking, I guess it's all Spanish people down here. I don't know.
Yeah, and we're not.
No.
So you came to Spanish Fork. What inspired you? I mean, I was on the committee where we gave you a list of our must-haves or our maybes. How do you go from taking that list to creating this? Because I had super high expectations, and you blew it.
I disappointed you.
No,
it's
you
okay.
blew
You can
it
say
out of the water. When I showed my husband, I just showed him, and I'm like, I am so proud of this, like I did it. No, I'm just like, you nailed it, Eric.
Oh, wow. Well, you're being very sweet. The part that I enjoy when I do the research of a town, when I drive around.
Okay.
And if I'm not from there, or if I'm a tourist, I want to see it through fresh eyes. And so there's iconic places that, if you see it for the first time, you know whether or not it stands out, whether it's important. And then to get the information from somebody like yourself or that committee that gave me their must-haves, you combine those two things and then just talk to the people. I love to just walk up to random strangers. So yes, I'm that guy in the bank line that will say, hey, what's your favorite color? And you're like, please leave me alone. I'm trying to get some money. That's what I experienced when I was here at Spanish Fork. But the part that really caught me was it's a small town feel, and I loved the cowboy feel. Sorry, just that the rancher. I mean, you have horse paths down here. You have open spaces. I mean, it's getting more and more crowded here in Utah County, and that land's going to be a premium, and it still has it here. I mean, we're up in Linden. We have a nice horse path through town, but all the open space is just about gone.
Yeah, and it's now coming south.
But it's still here.
Yes, for the time being.
And so I felt like I grew up in Green River, Wyoming. It felt like a little bit of that, with a better vocabulary. When we put a full sentence together in Wyoming, we're pretty proud.
Oh.
All my friends are like, hey.
Hey,
but
yeah.
No, it's good.
So you come and drive through Spanish Fork, you picked up your pieces, and then do you just go right back and start doing this, or what's the process after that?
I just start to sketch it out. I look at all the photos. I try and lay it out kind of geographically, chronologically. I mean, something that would make sense. And sometimes I get too into it where it has to be at a certain spot, and then and then it just doesn't work, and so you end up moving something completely around. I mean, I use the mountains as a backdrop, and we all know where the windmills are, and where the stadium is, or where the arena.
Yeah.
And from there, it was just adding it in a way where, you know, you could put the candy bomber in the sky and still, and I love a parade. A parade allows you to put the people naturally in the environment. If it's just a regular day, people aren't wandering around like that.
Right.
And so that, I loved the fact that you guys were good with that and you liked that idea. And this one's kind of different in that we have a focal point. The middle stadium, or the cowboy in the middle, brings you in with all the other activities going on. And I love putting in stuff that nobody will notice until they do a puzzle.
Can you give us any hints?
Then it'll give away all the fun. But you just never know when somebody's pulling somebody's hair, or doing something, chicken in a mailbox, or somebody's giving somebody flowers. We have personal stories, but we love to take other people's little secrets and.
Yeah, you know. And I've been on a couple secrets since I was on the committee.
Share them with me. I don't even know.
Well, I don't know. But just when I arrived here, I do want to ask you about one thing. We had a couple members of our staff putting this puzzle together, and then we have the painting back here. And there is a person in the puzzle, but he's not on the painting.
How did that happen?
But why do you do that?
So
to trick us, or
if that happens, what that means is I'm done with the painting, and somebody sends in a photo later, and we're like, argh. So we can go back and put it in. We'll digitally do it.
Oh, okay.
And so, because nowadays most artists, they're only learning digital photography, and I don't do any digital or digital painting. I don't do any digital.
So you're all like.
Yeah, it's all hand painted. So we have a few artists that do the digital, and we have a couple that are ready all the time for stuff like that. So if it's not in the original and it's in the puzzle, it'll be because somebody was like, please, oh please, you got to put them in.
Oh, I'll have to find out more then.
Yeah. So we'll find a few that'll.
Okay.
And then I will put some things like that in just to keep it fun.
Okay. So how big is this original painting?
This is 22 by 28. It's a little bit. I like to do them a little bit bigger, but because we had a tight deadline on this one.
Yes. You're welcome.
Yes, and I got to know your town day and night. I work with a staff, and so it's a combined effort. We're all participating while we're doing it. I love to collaborate with other artists, and we'll have conversations about different things that we're putting into the painting while we're doing it. And this one was just every day for a month and a half. We were cranking. Well,
and the reason we were cranking is we have our big parade, Fiesta Days, and we want to have the puzzle for sale.
And we did it, right? We have it?
You have it. We're having our kickoff tonight. They're going to be for sale in July. They'll be at our craft fair.
I think this is the fastest from beginning to puzzle.
So yeah, it's, as we're filming this, it's June 2022, and I believe it was June 21 when we started talking.
Okay, and so then
that's fast.
From the moment we started painting it to puzzle, I think that's the fastest.
Oh, true, because I don't even our committee had to meet
we
several
didn't
times.
really pull the trigger on it till like February, March.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fast.
Yeah.
Oh.
It wasn't stressful at all. It was very enjoyable.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
Our wives and spouses, they just enjoyed the stress, and it was good.
So, do you know where this original painting is going to go?
I do not know.
Okay. I think it's going to go in our new library hall, and if it's not, someone will correct me. But I believe that's where we're going to put it.
As long as it's not being in a closet, but
no, we'll use it. Well, how do you think this will help people of Spanish Fork appreciate Spanish Fork?
So I have some statistics, because everybody loves math.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
So we're going to do some math.
Okay.
And this I had to learn myself because, again, trying to wrap my mind around the necessity or why a puzzle. A movie is an hour to 2 hours long. And I don't know how many puzzles you guys did, but I imagine you'll sell about 10,000 puzzles. Let's just use that number.
Okay.
And the average town that we do this for will sell about 10,000. So a puzzle takes 2 to 3 hours. with one person will be on it for 2 to 3 hours, and the average puzzle is worked on by 3 to 5 people. So just do some real quick numbers there.
Right.
That's about 10 hours of actually working on a puzzle. And then the average puzzle sits on a table for at least a week. Okay?
Oh, that is kind
this
of
is
fun
just
statistic.
stuff we've learned
Yeah.
because that's what we love to do. All right, so 10 hours to 20 hours out on the table. You do 10,000 of those. And this is where the fun math comes in. I'm not even going to try and be close, but that's about 100,000 hours of people interacting with your city, its story, the little nuances, and all sorts of fun stuff. Now, that is 50,000 movies.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
we put that into one painting. So as people are doing this over the next 5 months, year, however long, or they can get it out for years and years
Yeah,
and put
yeah.
it together, it won't get old. It's timeless. You're naturally going to have that burnt into your memory, and it builds a feeling of nostalgia, ownership. And the towns that have done it now for a few years with us, it doesn't go away. Folk art doesn't fade. Because it takes so long. And I think, I grew up on a farm. We had lots of, we worked hard. We get up and milk the cows before we go to school, and then
Right.
we come home and milk cows again. So the work side of art, I think I was lucky to have that growing up so that I could translate it to folk art, because it is a lot of work. And so it's rare. There's not a lot of folk artists running around, mainly because maybe the other people are smarter. I don't know.
No, I think you've just captured the market, and they're afraid for the competition.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's it.
Or they see the red in our eyes and the fact that we don't ever sleep, or our children don't know us. I don't know. But I think because of that statistic that I just gave you,
Yeah.
over the next few months or years, it'll just be something that people will talk about and they will remember, and it burns inside them. It's subconscious.
Yeah. Oh, I'm super
Like
excited.
I said, the white picket fence and Christmas as we know it today
Right.
was in a painting it was in paintings by Currier and Ives. And they wrote the American story before the American story. So we naturally wanted Christmas like we saw it in the pictures.
True.
And we wanted the white picket fence.
Right.
Well, hopefully this will get people to go, I want it to be like that.
So looking at this puzzle, what story do you tell through this?
1,000 stories. That's my goal. I want something for everybody, no matter who
Okay.
they are or what they did.
It'll be different for everybody.
It needs to be. I love the idea or the thought around that. Like, for example, every puzzle piece is different. We need that. I mean, you don't have to try and be diverse. We are no matter what.
Right.
And so everybody fits in their own spot. We have a theme in our company, no missing pieces. If you have a missing piece, you call us up and we send you a whole puzzle. We won't find your piece, but we'll give you a whole puzzle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I never knew that. Like I said, I collect your puzzles, and there may be a couple of missing
What?
pieces. I know.
It was a dog.
I don't know how
yeah,
that
it was
happened.
a dog, a child, something like that. Yeah, it's rare, but when it happens, I mean, it's the worst thing in the world when you
Yeah.
have a missing piece.
Yeah.
It's like I ruined Christmas all by myself. And so, because of that, I mean, it's funny, there's 1,000 pieces, but if you're missing one, that one is all that matters. And so we take that into our personal lives and relationships, where if you think you don't matter, just don't show up to a party, and the whole party changes.
Okay.
And we've tried to celebrate the individual in our business, and so every puzzle piece is different.
Okay.
Everything has its own unique corners and nubbins or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's what makes us great.
So everyone that works on this will have their own unique story to go with it. Of remember
That's the goal.
when, or this is fun, or we still haven't been there. We need to do that.
Because they won't have the same conversation twice.
Right.
So
right.
when you're up at 1 o'clock in the morning talking about, I don't know, taking over the world,
Right.
which I'm sure that's what you guys talk
True.
about.
Yeah. At least taking over Spanish Fort.
Right. That's your story, and
I
somebody
love
else is
that.
having their own.
I love that. So how many puzzles have you created? Do you know? Like,
So I've done almost 500 paintings, and 400 plus. I should get the exact number. I don't know. It's like 450 puzzles.
that's a lot.
So, I know.
That's a lot. So here I thought I had a big collection. It's just a drop in the bucket.
No. You'd have to put together like I don't know. Chattanooga. Have you ever wanted to put together the Chattanooga puzzle?
No.
Well, there is one. Can you believe it?
No.
Harper's Ferry. And the small towns. That's why this project of doing Spanish Fork. I mean, I'm sure your tourism here is amazing.
Yes, it is. They'll all be clamoring
But
to
the
get
reality is the small towns, they celebrate their town like nobody else. The big
Sometimes
town,
more so.
Oh, they do. I mean,
Yeah.
because it's it's more personal. They know everybody in town. So I've done Hong Kong and New York and the big cities, and those are fun, but you just don't get the camaraderie and the stories that the small towns give you. So by going back and doing that recently with, I did Pleasant Grove's, American Fork and Spanish Fork now, and it's like, oh, I remember. This is how it was when I first started.
Right.
It was just that easy hometown feeling.
Okay. Well, before we leave, are there any hidden clues that you can share with us, or are you just saying we need to find them on our own?
Yeah, I would hate to give it away. I will say a couple things.
Okay.
I'm a pizza fan. I love pizza.
Okay.
I believe when you die and you go to heaven, you
go
to the pizza buffet. That's just, that's my, don't tell me that's not the case or I'm.
Okay.
Anyhow, the Two Jacks pizza, sorry, it's right up there with some of the best pizza you can get anywhere. And if anybody is wondering, so there's some different things in the rodeo, in the stands that are kind of fun. But for me, I've only done a couple rodeo scenes. If anybody is wondering whether or not the rodeo is entertaining, it is pound for pound one of the funnest things you can do. Go to the rodeo.
Go to the rodeo.
Absolutely. So I made sure I kept the entertainment inside there kind of fun. The clowns have got some things going on.
And as I've looked over the whole puzzle, to make sure everything's in there or whatever, I'm like, when I put the puzzle together, I'm most excited to get into that arena and see what you've done in that.
Oh, good.
I'm excited.
Good. Well, some of it I didn't mean to put in. No, every bit of it. So if you see something, you're going, I wonder what he was doing there. Yeah, there's a reason. Okay.
Well, Eric, we are honored that you took this upon yourself, that you met our deadlines, that we have it for Fiesta Days 2022. The mayor, the council, our city, the staff.
Well, they were great
honored
to work with. My staff loved interacting. They would come back and they're like, they don't hate you. And I'm like, great.
Good.
That's always good.
No, we're just thrilled. We're beyond thrilled.
Yeah.
We're so proud.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.